This is the Word to Stand On for Life with Pastor Ron Arbaugh.
Your word is sharper than any two-edged sword, and it cuts deep into my heart.
The Word to Stand On for Life is a radio ministry of Calvary Chapel in San Antonio. A live call-in show here to help you answer your questions about the Bible and how to apply the Word to your daily life. For more information on Calvary Chapel, visit our website, calvarysa.com. Get your Bible questions ready and call in now to 210-340-9585. It's The Word to Stand On for Life with Pastor Ron Arbaugh.
Welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in. The announcer just said with Pastor Ron Arbaugh, but not just Pastor Ron today. I'm live in studio on the Day edition of the program with Paula, and that's the program I think most of you look forward to each week. This is a program dedicated to taking your phone calls and answering your questions, Bible questions, questions about stuff going on in your life, whatever is on your heart. All you need to do is dial 210-340-9585. If you're outside the local San Antonio area, you can call toll-free at 877-630-KSLR. Numerically, that's 630-5757. You can email questions by emailing questions at calvarysa.com, or you can use our Calvary Chapel of San Antonio mobile app. And as always, if you're driving in your car, the safest way to call is to have your heater on today. That's the first thing. You got to have your heater on. Paula, we were driving back from where we were, and I just said, I don't like just sit in the car and drive. Mm-hmm. But, some people say, let's go for a drive. No, that's boring. Today, our car was so warm and cozy, mm-hmm. I thought we should drive.
Yeah. When I dropped you off here, remember I said, I think I might take the long way home? Sure enough.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Our car is the nicest place in Texas right now. Yeah. But the KSLR mobile app, hit the Call Now banner at the top of the screen. You'll be directed to our studio producer. Mm-hmm. So what's up?
Well, you got a crazy wife. And so I walked into the church building. The kids, it's too cold to be outside doing PE, so they're in the sanctuary, gymnasium,
all-purpose room.
Yeah, the all-purpose room when all the chairs and stuff are to the sides. And it's like, Mama Paula, you want to plank with us? I was like, what? No. Okay. So I got some video.
Oh,
I got a couple.
That won't help the reading.
No, it won't help them, but I got form. I got some form.
Did you have planked the kids, I bet, huh?
Well, I made it through a couple of rounds. Mm-hmm. But then this was my excuse. Sorry, I have a radio program to do. So I'm just telling you right now, Pastor Ron, that if I whine tomorrow, it's because, I'm be hurting.
Our house is a no whining zone.
Since when?
Now.
Okay.
No,
a lot of whining going on over there in our house.
And you work hard at it. You've got to be the fittest. What are you, 74?
No. Remember, I'm younger by far than you, and you're just 73. Okay. So go ahead.
You've got to be the fittest 72-year-old I've ever seen. I mean, you just never stop. Yeah. You're flexible like a pretzel. Mm. So I'm sure you'll be fine tomorrow.
I think you've been praying. You're like, please, Lord, keep her in decent shape so she can take care of me for the long haul, right? Anyway, so I did some planks, and, I'll probably be sore tomorrow, because I haven't really been doing planks at all. I do some squats and that kind of stuff, and some, bicep curls and that, but not really planks. But they sent me a video. I got form, though. I remember how it goes. But then what you do is you're in your plank, and your other people that you're going against are rolling a ball to you. When that ball came to me, I was like, how heavy is this thing? Because you got to roll it back. But I made it. but I might be whining tomorrow.
This has been an athletic day. Planks in the afternoon. This morning at breakfast, we were watching our high school basketball team. They were in a tournament, the year-end tournament.
Yeah.
And they lost by 1 point.
1 point. Oh, I felt so bad for the young man who had the ball. He only had 5 seconds left when we were down by 1. And he got the ball thrown into him at, mid-court, so with less than 5 seconds. And once he touches the ball, that's all you have. And he's running, and he tripped, and he fell, Pastor Ron. Yeah. But it was at least a competitive game, and they did well, but what a heartbreak. So anyway, I think it's one and done.
In the playoffs, usually it is, but...
Yeah. Shoot. Oh, well.
So, what do you want to talk about today?
Well, I was thinking about the faithfulness of God. First, we should probably announce this. On Saturday morning, we have a corporate prayer, and we have a really good group, and anybody and everybody is welcome to come, And then after that, that's at 9:30 here in our multi-purpose room. And then your pastor's discipleship class. Now, we're done with the distinctives, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you know what you're going to talk about yet?
Nope.
Yeah, probably wouldn't disclose it anyway, secret. So, pastor's discipleship class at 10:30. So, anybody and everybody's welcome there as well. And I'm only saying this because a lot of people say, oh, I forgot it was this week, because we do it every other Saturday. This is that Saturday, y'all. So anyway, yeah. And I want to go back to my planks. I was planking with Ariana, who's one of our aides and PE teachers. Knocked her out. And then Rebecca, who's Josue's younger sister. Yeah, cutie. I didn't outplank her. She held on.
Hey, 72 and 16.
Yeah, probably.
So,
Mm-hmm. She's cute as can be. So anyway, what I wanted to talk about is the faithfulness of God. Sometimes, we kind of forget or we might take his faithfulness for granted. So I was looking up a couple of things about his faithfulness. And in Psalm 145, and I don't know if either one of us are going to live that long for you to get to that. If you're going to go all 150, I'm sure the Lord hadn't told you that yet, right? So,
I have no idea. I'm just going to keep going through the Psalms until he directs something else.
Okay. It's been great so far.
I told the church last night, I feel like we got through Psalm 6 last night. So we just started. Mm-hmm. We did 5 and 6. But with 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, I feel like I've been in therapy.
Oh, that's what you said, yeah.
All week. It's cutting deep in my heart. And, that's unusual for me. I'm not normally a psalmist kind of guy, but boy, he's really been ministering to me, mm-hmm. Maybe more than to all the other people. So
that's good. That's good. I'm glad you're in Psalms, because that's where I run to a lot. And
producer just gave me a sign. Social Security will cover me till I'm 150, so I should be able to get through Psalm 150.
So even if you should pass away before that, and I have you stuffed, you'll still be at the right address.
Yeah, but once you stuff me...
I'll be 148.
And Paul has been threatening to stuff me just to keep me around forever.
Mm-hmm.
Once you stuff me, the Social Security check stops.
Really?
Yeah.
So I had to say, what do you say? By now he stinketh. I'm going to keep you around, Pastor Ron. So anyway, yeah, but I'm really happy that you're in the Psalms, because, I'm the Psalm person. And even when I'm reading them to you, sometimes I want to just start singing, the psalm that comes up. So
Psalm 5 is actually a very old worship song, Maranatha music, from way back in the days. Mm-hmm. And when you sing it, everybody recognizes it. But too few people recognize it. It's Psalm 5. It's really neat. It's a neat old song.
Well, I have the thing up on Psalm 145. Mm-hmm. I guess I could go back to what's the song that's from it? You don't know? Because I probably know it. Uh-huh.
We all would if you heard it. So
mm-hmm. Okay. So anyway, in Psalm 145, talking about the faithfulness of God, and I'm going to start at verse 13. And I'll probably stop and ask you a couple questions, or you can interject at any time. So it says, And the whole song is wonderful, but I'm going for the faithfulness of God. Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and your dominion endures through all generations. The Lord is faithful to all his promises. And, you've been having us read just the promises. You always say this, just the promises in Romans chapter 8. If that was only page you had, kind of a thing. And so,
yeah, seriously, if I was stranded on a desert island somewhere and could only take one chapter out of the Bible, it would be Romans chapter 8.
Yeah. That would be so hard because, if you were, for instance, held at gunpoint or something, what's the one chapter? Because we all have our favorites.
Yeah,
I don't know what.
But Romans 8 ought to be everybody's favorite because it's life in the Spirit. It's just so rich. And as you just brought up, the promises are so overwhelmingly true. If we would just believe those and hold on to them, honestly, Paula, we could everything would change.
Yeah. I really believe that because when I went home, I was like, okay, Lord, what am I going to talk about? So, babe, I was making the cornbread. It was while I was making the cornbread that I heard the faithfulness of God. So, yeah, he's faithful. So, so those promises, and so it says, the Lord is faithful to all his promises and loving toward all he has made. The Lord upholds all those who fall and lifts up all who are bowed down. And, I have the gift of encouragement. I know that. And then there's some times when even the people who have the gift of encouragement need to be encouraged. That's why reading the Psalms is so good. And so the Lord upholds all those who fall and lifts up all who are bowed down. So if any of my people out there, those that I've met, those that I haven't met, if you need some encouragement, read Psalm 145. If you feel like you've fallen and you need, he lifts up our heads. And so if you feel like you're bowed down and, a little bit under, not necessarily under the weather, but your spiritual zeal may be just a little bit off, the Lord upholds all those who fall and lifts up all who are bowed down. Then the eyes of all look to you, Lord. It doesn't say Lord, but what I'm saying. I don't want to be adding words. So the eyes of all look to you, and you give them their food at the proper time. You open your hand and satisfy the desires of every living thing. You want to say something on that one?
Well, just this sort of what Jesus was talking about when he was telling us not to worry. God provides for the birds, and you're much more valuable than a bird. And he said, therefore, do not worry about tomorrow. Today is enough of its own. And, we read these things, and these are worship songs, most of them, and we can sing them. I was aware last night while we were singing the songs, just how few people really believe what they're singing. Now we sing them because it's a song and Gotta Catch You Beach. We know it's true in our heads, but we don't know in our hearts. And that's the same thing with this. You open your hand and satisfy the desires of every living thing. All we have to do is be there where he opens his hand. And just, what did David say in the Psalm last night? To you alone, O Lord, I cry out. There's no remedy from any other source. And yet we're constantly, as humans, looking to other people for help, for strength, for a remedy of our problems. And they can only come from the Lord's open hand. And people don't believe it until they experience it. But when you surrender completely to the Lord, he will satisfy every desires that you weren't even aware of.
Yeah. I'm in that Selah moment right there. You heard some silence right there, like, that's right. I can think of some things, So it goes on to say, the Lord is righteous in all his ways, and again, loving toward all he has made. The Lord is near to all who call on him, to all who call on him in truth. So that's what you were saying last night. David, I cry out to you, Lord, to you alone. I cry out to you. And he was very humble. And that in Psalm 6, I didn't realize this before, but you were saying that was his own personal declaring to his men his weakness or his downcastedness.
Yeah. You just used the word, you said he was very humble. And I would change that. He was humbled. Mm-hmm. And we don't get to that place on our own. Mm-hmm. And David was humbled. Psalm 5 was connected with Psalm 4 when he was running from Absalom. And it just looked like the whole world was against him. In the Psalm, he says, tens of thousands have gathered against me. Mm. And that's not hyperbole there. Mm. But when you fall from a position as high and lofty as when he fell from, and especially knowing that this was the disciplining hand of God, he deserved it. He committed serious sin. And, you get to a point where you just, pride doesn't matter anymore. Mm. And that's so counterculture to the time that we live in. You always got to hold on to your pride, appearance is everything. And he made that confession. Remember, these are public worship songs that he's writing. Mm-hmm. They were directed to the chief musician. Mm-hmm. So this wasn't just David journaling his innermost thoughts. David was worshiping God, confessing his sin, knowing he was at fault. And then in the fifth psalm, in the sixth psalm, David was experiencing physical and emotional fallout from whatever his sin was. We don't know exactly what the occasion was of writing the sixth psalm, but he was. We can all relate to it. He was sick. Felt like he was going to die. I cry all night long. I've soaked my bed with tears. All night I cry out to you, O God. And he felt the distance from God. And a man with a heart after God, like David had a heart, there was nothing more painful. Not the physical illness, whatever it was, not the emotional stress or depression he was going through, but the single biggest trial of his life during those kind of episodes was the distance from God. Yeah. He was so close to the Lord, and better is one day in your court than 1,000 elsewhere, he'd write. And now he's distant from God, sort of can't find his way back. And you combine that with physical infirmity or emotional anguish, knowing that it was your sin that caused it. All you want is to reach out to God. Yeah.
So sorry, Lord. Yeah. When I was telling somebody, I think it was Greta, when I used to sing the song, The Stand, I get to start it now and do the second stanza. And it says, "You stood before my failures and carried the cross for my shame. All my sins."
You used to have a really hard time getting through that.
It's
in a very low register, even for you, and you got a pretty low voice.
I do have a low voice.
But I could see for a long time, years, when you sing that part of the song, it's like, I don't know if I can get this out.
Yeah. Yeah, my favorite thing, and it still is, I told you that this morning, is the Lord's forgiveness. But to think, all my sins weighed upon your shoulders, my soul now to stand. That's all my sins, past, present, and even the ones tomorrow, and all the tomorrows. And there are some times when, I'm singing that song, and it's like, oh, man, I'm sorry, Lord, but I'm thankful, Lord. But I'm sorry, Lord, And thank you for your forgiveness, but I don't want to take it for granted,
See, I'm glad you mentioned that, Paula, because that's an example of what David was doing. We think of David writing these psalms, and, one of the psalms, the fifth psalm, was set to the music of flutes. And the sixth psalm was set to the music of an 8-string lyre, sort of the ancient version of a guitar. And we don't think of it that way. And yet what David is doing is worshiping before he's writing. He's worshiping the Lord. He's confessing his sin, his weakness. He's confessing that he's at fault. And as he's writing these things down, it turns into a worship song. When you have a hard time getting through that first stanza of that song, that's true worship. Because your heart is before the Lord. That's Jesus saying, Lord, I can't believe you did this for me.
Yeah.
And that's what true worship really is. It's public. David, when he writes to the chief musician, that's public. And while most of us would say, we give invitations and
you talking the altar call?
Yeah. People don't want to come forward because, everybody's going to know that I messed up or whatever it is. First of all, we all know you mess up.
Yeah.
But the idea is you're not truly worshiping until you can confess that. That's what Psalm 51 is all about. When I get to Psalm 51, Paula, if I get that far, I may take 5 or 6 weeks in there.
That's okay.
Just that one psalm. But David could get to the part where he said, renew within me a right spirit. This is after his sin with Bathsheba, after trying to cover it up. Psalm 32 is sort of a companion psalm. And we have David, renew within me. I really messed up, Lord. I'm guilty of adultery. I'm guilty of murder. By the way, both capital offenses under the law. And David crying out for mercy. Against thee and thee only have I sinned, O God. And you have to go through that. And that's what genuine worship is. And then you can get to the place where you say, renew within me a right spirit. Restore unto me the joy of my salvation. That's what worship does. Worship takes you from where you are and puts you in the place where God is.
Yeah.
And that's where we need to be. And that's the answer for David's distance. And that's why he was so raw. What I said last night was, as you read this, note the rawness and the realness of his confession. He's not pulling any punches. He's not trying to play any games. He's not making any excuses. He is figuratively naked before God and saying, you know all of this about me anyway. And when we who, the Spirit is knocking on the door of our heart, the Spirit's convicting us, and we try to pretend that we're okay because, I don't want this person to know that I'm not okay, or, we cease worship. And that means we don't get to the place where we can say, restore unto me the joy of my salvation, because there's that big thing that interferes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, moving on. He fulfills the desires of those who fear him. And that's not, you can explain it. That's not being afraid of him, but sort of kind of it is.
Well, it is kind of, especially from an Old Testament context, they wouldn't dare go out to war if God wasn't with them.
God wasn't going. Because
every time that happened, they'd get ransacked by the enemy. So they feared rebelling against God. But sometimes we only get that fear when we're really in danger. Instead of living with that fear of God. And it's a healthy, I like to call it a filial fear of God. It's not, oh God, I'm so afraid of you because you're abusive. I'm so afraid of you because you're mad. Not that kind of fear. But I'm afraid, God, of not being with you because I'll mess up.
Yeah.
And so that's what he says.
Yeah.
And this is true in the New Testament sense as well. He fulfills the desires of those who fear him.
He hears their cry and saves them. Last year, our Sweet Summer Devotion theme was the God who sees us. But he's also the same God who hears us when we cry out, And I was thinking recently, when we cry out, he knows our motive as well. So that earlier it said that turns to him in truth. So he hears their cry and saves them. He's like just the best dad,
But both of our Psalms last night started out with, Lord, hear my prayer. Hear the cry of my heart.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of this, and I mentioned it last night. Too often we just start praying, and there's no sense of privilege that God would hear our prayers, that we could have an audience with the one who watches over all who love him, who fulfills the desires of those who fear him. we should be so in awe that we can go into his presence. You know, the New Testament says, Paul writing, that he lives in unapproachable light. And yet he tells us to approach him.
And yet we have the access.
Oh.
Yeah, just like, you know, I was thinking about this yesterday when you said something to me. But I was thinking, you know, even when you're in a meeting, if I call, you still answer the phone. Thank you.
And you're the only one I do that for.
I appreciate it.
Because it'd be rude. And I usually tell people, look, I'm not going to take any phone calls unless it's Paula.
Mm.
So.
Yeah. I should love you more. What do you think? That's really nice. Anyway, the Lord watches over all who love him, but all the wicked he will destroy.
Yeah.
My mouth will speak in praise of the Lord. Let every creature praise his holy name forever and ever. Think
about that as we go to break. Hey, we'd love your comments, questions, your phone calls, 210-340-9585. This is The Word to Stand On for Life. Paula and I will be back in 2 minutes.
Welcome back to The Word to Stand On for Life. We're taking your calls at 340-9585 or toll free 877-630-KSLR. Now, here's Pastor Ron Arbaugh.
Welcome back to the second half of our Thursday Date Day program, 210-340-9585 or toll free 877-630-KSLR. My super producer, during the break, he found Psalm 5. Now, we can't hook it up on the radio so you can hear it, but you can put on YouTube 5 Maranatha singers, and that magnificent, clear voice that you'll hear is a man named Terry Clark, and it is one of the old staples of the contemporary Christian music, the very old, during the Jesus movement days songs. So if you really want a treat, just tune in and listen. Psalm 5, Maranatha Singers on YouTube in the search engine, and that's the first one that will come up. It is absolutely beautiful. Wouldn't you love to have Terry Clark sing you to sleep every night?
Yes, and then David Marquez just to play the guitar.
Yeah, David loves me, but I've asked him now for 15 years.
At least, Pastor Ron. What's up with this?
Just move into our house and play the guitar while we go to sleep at night.
He don't have to live there. He could just come. Yeah, we don't really need him to live there. But if he just came over, like, after church on Wednesday and Friday night and just stay in the living room and play the music while we're trying to go to sleep, and then when he knows we're asleep, then he can go back on home to his wife.
It probably wouldn't take me long.
I know. It didn't take you long at all. As soon as he stopped, I was like, I'm not asleep yet. Keep going. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, David Marquez, he's such a great guitar player. But Terry Clark, Psalm 5, you will thank me. What's up, Paula?
Well, I don't really know what else I want to talk about. Well, we can probably talk about, people probably want to know.
You want to talk about the marriage retreat?
How did the marriage conference go? It went really fast.
I say retreat. It wasn't a retreat. It's a conference.
It was really fast.
Whew.
Yeah, it was wonderful. The trip over there, Nigella and Greta picked us up in a very nice van, and I didn't have to drive, you know. And I'm like really I praise the Lord the whole time there and back, because it was kind of twists and turns, and they had an app on their car and their phone that took us, you know, away from traffic necessarily.
They said they were going to put that app on your phone. Did you do that?
No, we haven't. I forgot all about that.
Okay.
But yeah, but I haven't had to drive anywhere.
We're not very app savvy.
Well, no, not in that one. Not in that one. But I got some apps, babe. I've been getting savvied. But yeah, so we 6 hours, but I thought it went really fast. Yes.
Yeah, the drive there is always fast for me because it's nice. You're talking. You got people's great. Nigel, he's my guy. I said, Nigel, if you have to stop anything, he said, no. When I get in the car, I like to eat until we get there.
Yeah.
So simpatico.
Yeah. He said, I'll be hungry when we get there.
Yeah. And we went to what's really funny?
What?
Just, we've been there. Now I'm a regular in Paris now.
Oh, yeah.
We've been
They
there
all know
twice.
you now. Mm-hmm.
But I'm always surprised when I go the first time, and they've invited me and I speak. I'm always surprised when they invite me back. Mm-hmm. So they invited me back, and we got there. And I remember the first time I was there, and this was during the summer sometime. I don't know when, but we stopped at this Mexican food restaurant. I'm not a huge Mexican food fan, but they had taquitos. I haven't had taquitos since California.
Yeah.
And the taquitos there, flautas, they called them, chicken flauta. And it was just really good. I mean, it was really, really good restaurant. It wasn't greasy at all. It was just really, really good. So I just thought, well, if we ever get back there, well, at least we got a place to eat. Well, when we got back there, I couldn't remember the place.
That's so weird.
I said, it's on the right-hand side of the street. It's beige. The building is so I just couldn't remember the name. And you called...
No,
Pastor,
I just texted him.
Oh, you texted Pastor Louis. And he's the one who drove me up there for the first time. Yeah. And not only did he know the name, he had a phone number and the address. So we found it.
Yeah.
And it was, I said, I couldn't believe it's Alex's tacos.
In no time. I mean, it was so fast. He responded to me. Thank you, Louis. We love you.
And it was really, really good. Yes, and then, we show up at the conference. And get to meet a bunch of nice people and
really
just
nice.
say. So, what are your thoughts about the conference?
It was very welcoming and warm, and there were a lot of people that came from even other areas, other Calvaries, other churches. Well, the one thing I noticed was we brought the color to the place, so. Nigel and Greta, me. The Braceños, and then the Tamayos. Other than that, everybody else was really white. Yeah. So it was kind of, but what do you say? It's Paris, Texas.
Hey, they were my people.
They were your people. Yeah. You felt right at home, right?
I was the odd man out in the car and with the rest of them. But
it was fun. I love that because we get to meet, brothers and sisters that we really never met before.
They were especially warm. I got the sense
really
the people that really wanted to serve. They were there, and I talked to one lady, and you stole recipes.
Oh no, I didn't steal it, and I kissed her.
Yeah,
told her she was my favorite lady of the day.
But I was asking. I said, "Look, this is a lot of food. They had steak." And
Ooh.
They cut our steak in half. I asked them to, and it was still too big for us.
It was still man-sized for me, for sure.
And so I said, so you guys were, she said, that's just what we do. That's who we are here. Mm-hmm. And it felt so warm. We were so welcomed. I always say this. I'm really direct when I do these things, and it would have been easy for them to say, "Who do you think you are? You don't know us, and we don't know you." But they didn't. And the pastor and his wife there, just a wonderful, lovely couple, young and about a couple of years in, or I think 5 years in. He'd been there 2 years as the senior pastor.
No, he's been there 7 years. 5 years as a senior pastor.
Okay.
He was born and raised there.
Yeah, born and raised there. The prophet has no honor in his hometown. Well, he's doing pretty well.
He's doing good.
And he's got a great name. His name is Justin Golden. I wish my last name was Golden.
Well, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. But it was really nice. And I did recognize several people because we would see them, servants go to the Calvary Association meeting. So it was quite a few of the ladies. I was like, oh, I know your face. I forgot your name, but I know your face. And so they're asking about coming to our women's retreat, not this year, but next year. But yeah, the lady who gave us the green bean recipe, anybody wants it, I'll be happy to share it with you because she shared it with me. Her name is Catherine, my new best friend. It was wonderful. But yeah, I think they enjoyed the frankness, I mean, there was a couple of young marrieds, but it was quite a middle and then older married people, and
I think that's pretty much a demographic of their church. I think their young people are a minority there. So it was just really, really nice.
Yeah. they were very grateful. And, we appreciate your openness, yeah, your realness.
When he asked me, and it started on Valentine's Day, the 14th.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the 14th and 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And I just tell him, look, I'm just really honestly, if you're looking for a really fun Valentine's
mm-hmm.
night out kind of thing,
mm-hmm.
I'm probably not the best person
mm-hmm.
for it.
We're not silly.
Yeah.
I'm funny, but you're really not, and you're really direct. And marriage, like you always say, is the closest picture we have of our relationship with the Lord. And so, they asked some pretty hard questions. And
you and I enjoy doing a Q&A. It's sort of like being on the radio, only without the radio.
Mm-hmm.
So we did 3 sessions. The first one, they asked us to do our testimony. We wouldn't normally have done that,
mm-hmm.
but they asked us to share our testimony. The second one was me teaching. And then the third one was more than an hour-long Q&A session.
Mm-hmm.
And they had some really, really direct questions about everything from sex to raising children to
mm-hmm. relationships,
everything in between.
And stuff like that, yeah.
And, there's no time to pull punches.
Mm-mm.
So
yeah.
I enjoyed it. They were really, really accommodating. They were nice.
Mm-hmm.
They always want to know, what do you want? And what do you want in your room? I said, look, we're really low maintenance.
Yeah.
I don't need anything at all.
Yeah.
And it was just really a good
nice.
time.
Yeah. They did bring you some Mexican cokes and moon pies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They called somebody here at church and they told him, I think.
Because when I talked to her personally, I said, we just need water. We just need water in our room. That's it. And, we're there to serve you guys. We're not there for you to, we don't need all that. You got us the hotel room. Mm-hmm. That's good enough. But, yeah. But it was really wonderful to see some of the older people saying, oh, yeah, we kind of been like you guys, How do you keep the fires stoked, so to speak, and how do you, I was telling the ladies, well, I told them all because we didn't get to separate this time, I've never said no to you, and they're like, whoa, and I always say, because a lot of ladies are like, I'm too tired, I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. I'm too tired. I said, you know what, though? I always say this. If somebody called and said, girl, somebody gave me $1,000, $500 for you, $500 for me, but we got to go now to spend it. They'd be up, showered, dressed, and in the car. Bye. Not too tired. And so, yeah, the Lord says, I don't belong to myself. I belong to you.
I'll expand on that for a minute for the
shopping
audience.
Or the
our bodies is the one thing that we can control, and we can actually use our bodies to manipulate.
Oh yeah, and
it goes for both sexes, male and female.
Yeah.
But the Bible says you're not your own, you're bought with a price.
Mm-hmm.
We belong to Christ, but the Bible also very specifically says within the confines of marriage that the husband's body belongs to the wife, not to him.
Yep.
The wife's body belongs to me, mm-hmm. not to you.
Yeah.
And it was like the question that we had, how do you balance family and planning and being secure financially and serving the Lord? Mm-hmm. And I said, there can be no balance. Yeah. There's no balance. If you're not all in for Jesus, then you're not succeeding at any phase of your life. Well, the same thing is true physically when you're talking about sexuality in the marriage. It's the only place that sexuality honors the Lord. It got really quiet when you said, in response to a question, I've never said no to Ron.
Yeah.
And it was like you could hear the wind being taken. It's like, well, but what if I don't feel like it? And what about my right? And no, you don't have a right. You died to Christ. Talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, I had to learn that early, even before you were saved, because I got saved. And then now I'm in this unequally yoked relationship, and you were still Ron, the not so nice guy. And I remember, and I was crying.
Ray is listening, so go ahead and say it.
Ron the jerk.
Yeah.
Hey, Ray. That was true, but, you can call him something else now, anyway. So I remember one of those nights when I was like, can you please get him away from me right now? Because, it's horrible. And the Lord and I were having a conversation. He started it. Actually I did. I said, can you get him away from me right now? And the Lord said, but you made a promise. I was like, what?
I was out of my mind.
And I was like, and I knew what he was talking about, but I still said this. What? He said, yeah, your body's not your own. You're bought at a price. I was like, oh, we're going to have that conversation right now? I'm crying, and it's dark, and you don't care, and, my ears are filling up, and the pillow's getting wet. And he said, yeah, no, your body doesn't belong to... And so this is what I said. I told the Lord this. Well, my heart's not in it. And he said, don't need your heart right now, just your body. I was like, oh, my goodness, kind of a thing. And from that day, he let me know I did not belong to me. And that I belong to him first and you second. And so I don't get the right, to say no. And so...
But he's a jerk, but he's not clean, but he speaks so harshly to me. How would you, and we've dealt with this in counseling 100 times.
Okay,
so,
yeah, but...
how would you respond?
You've never been not clean.
No, I'm not talking about me.
I know.
No, I'm just, those are the general excuses.
Yeah, no, I never said that he's not clean. Because I was
Ron the clean jerk.
Yeah. Praise the Lord for that, because, the Mack truck thing would have been, whew, yeah, no. And thank you for that. But, I would say you can talk to him, but you still can't say no. Say, can we go take a shower first, or something like that, or he's the jerk person. Well, the Lord would say, when I said my heart's not in it, and he said, don't need your heart right now, just your body. The Lord, that's 1 Peter 3, that you may be won over without words by your behavior. And loving Jesus means obeying him. My saying, because you said so, because I didn't feel like it, but because you said so, he said your heart will catch up to your body eventually, because you'll be obeying and pleasing the Lord instead of yourself or even you, Ron. But yeah, I would tell any wife that your job is to please the Lord, and there's no and Lord in the same sentence. Yeah,
Paula, so many, usually the last thing, and I'm going to speak generally here because it's true both ways. I said that a moment ago, but
sure.
Generally with women who feel like they're in a position, a disadvantaged position.
Yeah.
This is the last thing I have control over. Mm-hmm. And what I said at the conference was, the more you think you have control over anything, the more miserable things are going to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things we got to learn, that nothing belongs to us. Yeah. When it says our body's not our own, we're bought with a price. Yeah. I usually, when I'm teaching in that passage, tell people, look, you can, if I fall down dead here, right in the pulpit, you can walk by and kick me, you can step over me, you can do whatever you want, you can talk bad about me. I don't care, because I'm dead. Yeah. Well, if you're dead because Christ bought you, then it shouldn't really matter at all. Yeah. You're doing it for Jesus, you're not doing it for you. And do you have enough faith to believe? And I asked this question directly at the conference. Do you have enough faith to believe that God will honor your sacrifice? Yeah. Worship is a sacrifice. Yeah. I will not give to the Lord that which costs nothing, David said. Worship is a sacrifice. When you worship God by sacrificing you, do you have enough faith to believe that God will bless you? Yeah. And that's, I think, usually the answer to that question is no, we don't. This is the only thing I have control over.
Yeah.
We need to lose control completely.
Yeah. She tell my kids, tell your little friends, don't bring them over here this week because your mom's going to be on that 1 week a month thing. And the Lord's like, stop. I'm in control of all of that. So, yeah. So there was one man who asked a question, and he was saying, well, what if, my wife's like an early person and I'm a late night person. I like things clean and neat, and she's a little messy. I mean, just right in front of everybody. So what do I do? You serve.
Yeah.
You serve. You're there to serve. If the house is a little messy and you want it neater,
clean it.
Set the example.
You do your part.
Yeah.
God will do His. Mm-hmm. What I told him, I began the answer to the question by saying, Jesus was neat. Now we know that because when he got up out of the tomb, the burial cloth was folded neatly. Jesus was neat. So we have to be neat, and if one or the other party doesn't want to isn't as neat as the other, then the neat one has to take over. Well, that's not fair. She should do this or he should do that. It doesn't matter what's fair. You do your part. Let God deal with your spouse. And we don't do that. We want to negotiate, and one of the things I said on the very first night, God never negotiates.
He doesn't negotiate.
He is a dictator.
That's right.
It's His way or the highway.
Yeah.
And what we have to do is sacrifice ourselves and let God work.
Yeah.
And I told men, by the way, I said, if you're not neat, if you don't pay attention to your personal hygiene, shame on you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's misrepresenting the Lord.
They probably put on some extra cologne back in the day to catch her,
Love your wife like Christ loved the church, giving himself up for her. If she wants a neat, clean husband, then you be that neat, clean husband. Yeah. That's the point. Well, that's just not my way. And the early, late thing, well, she doesn't like to get up early. I'm an early person. Well, you need to be up early with your Bible open and invite her to join you.
Yeah.
And let God do something completely new. If you do that, God will move. And that's the one thing that we really don't believe, that God is going to move. When husband and wife are in the Word together, when they're praying together, the Spirit of God moves. And He's the one that makes permanent change.
Yeah.
Paula, we're inside 4 minutes now.
I know. Pastor Ron, back in the day, in my prayer journals, the Lord, I have it written down. I don't know which one it is, but one of the older ones, where the Lord said to me, before you were saved, one day your marriage will be one that will encourage many, many others. So every time we do one of these conferences or retreats, we've had retreats, marriage retreats, I'm reminded of that. And just, I remember back in the day when he first told me that, I was like, I recognize the voice. And you're a not lying God. But, really? And so, yeah, really. Here we are. So it's kind of cool. I sure wish my kids would be saved. They watched the transformation of who we used to be and who we are now. And they're still married. But I want them to be really in love with their spouse.
The answer to that is the same as the answer to a lot of the questions, some of the questions that were asked. My answer was one word: flesh.
Yeah. We all have them.
There are consequences to the way we lived before Christ, and our kids were hurt and harmed by some of that. And they've seen the difference. Now it's their choice. They're adults, and they've seen the choice. We need to be sure that we give our children a chance to see the power of God in our own homes. We talked a lot in response to questions about arguing in the conference, and just the things that children have heard their parents say about each other and to each other. And I personally was so harmed by that as a child. My dad would get so angry, and he wouldn't say, "Just leave. Come on, Ronnie, let's go up and I'll throw you balls." And but he'd call my mom horrible names in front of me.
My parents said the same thing.
And just awful, awful, awful time. And we do lasting damage to our children by misrepresenting the Lord. You know, we drag him to church, we talk about God, and but we don't live him. And I'll use Paul's word, it exasperates our kids or embitters our children. And, there's not much you can do about it after that.
Yeah.
Paula, 1 minute. What do you want to say to close?
God is faithful, just like I started this out, and he knows the desires of our hearts. He actually gives us the desires of our heart, and he keeps his promises. And so, you keep talking about prayer. Today, after last night's study today, I was like, Lord, I just need to touch the hem of your garment again. And so I encourage all of us to just touch the hem of his garment again. Get that close. He wants to...
Take your sandals off, and the ground you're standing on is holy ground.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for tuning in. You've been listening to the Date Day edition of the show. I'm Pastor Ron Arbaugh from Calvary Chapel in San Antonio, Texas, and I will be back tomorrow, Lord willing, at 4 o'clock on AM 630 The Word. We'll see you then.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for spending this time with Calvary Chapel's The Word to Stand On for Life with Pastor Ron Arbaugh. The Word to Stand On for Life is on every weekday afternoon at 4, and Pastor Ron invites you to find out more about Calvary Chapel at calvarysa.com. The Word to Stand On for Life was sponsored by Calvary Chapel of San Antonio.